Hi everybody, welcome to week 7, module 7, the last new content area for the class. This week we're going to be looking at organizational culture and organizational change, two of my favorite topics. I actually teach an undergraduate class this semester on managing organizational change. I don't like change, so it's interesting for me to learn about it. We've already talked a little bit about organization structure in the essentials class, so just going to look at the organizational change part of chapter 14, and then we have our final journal assignment on the overall concept of servant leadership. So the characteristics of principled leaders that you've been writing about all through the session are pieces of servant leadership. But this week we'll look at the overall concept. So your discussion this week is to describe organizational culture. So organizational culture looks at shared assumptions and values that are part of a group or organization. Can't see the values and assumptions. What you can see is some physical artifacts of the culture. So to try to figure out those underlying values and assumptions, we take a look at and try to interpret the artifacts. So physical structures, language, rituals, ceremonies, stories, and legends. So I'm asking you to identify and describe an organization and some physical artifacts, and then the values and shared assumptions that are part of that organization's culture. So one of my favorite examples, an exaggerated one, of course, is from David Letterman. Long ago when GE purchased NBC. So take a look at that as an example. The written assignment for this week is focused on the organizational change part of the week or the module. So I'm asking you to identify a change that you would like to see, and then identify the driving forces and the restraining forces. So what are the forces working in favor of your change, and what are the obstacles that you face in trying to get this change implemented? So I've attached a document that has this visual, but you do not have to use that. The formatting gets a little wonky sometimes. And then the last few questions. Okay, once you know what the change is you're trying to create, you know who's against it, you know who's for it, think about your strategies. How will you try to change or move the needle in the position you want it to go? Who will resist your change? There's always going to be resistors, and how will you handle it? So it's a planning exercise that can help you be more effective with planned change. And then the final journal this week is about servant leadership, serving others before self. So it's a very specific kind of approach to leadership that's appropriate in many situations. You may come up with some where this is not the best way to lead. So evaluate yourself as a servant leader. Have you worked for one? And would you like to incorporate more servant leadership into your own approach? So have a good week. Let me know if you have any questions. We're almost to the end.